You've tuned in to the Harbor Park CrossFit Racine's Anchored Podcast.
A podcast about fitness, wellness, and all things Harbor Park CrossFit Racine.
Each episode, we talk about things that are relevant to our gym, with our members, and overall observations from our day-to-day coaching and running our box.
Our goal is to educate our listeners on the things that are relevant to living a healthy lifestyle inside and outside of the gym.
Be sure to subscribe to our show anywhere you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Also, give us a rating, share, and like our podcast to help us get out and reach more people.
Now here's your hosts, Dave
and Corian.
By podcast terms. All right. What are we talking about today, Corian?
Well, I'm Coach Corian.
Oh, yeah. Coach Dave. You should know us by now, especially if you're listening to episode 86. But if you're not, maybe go back in the libraries and listen to us. Because we have 86 episodes. All right, Corian, what are we chatting about today?
I feel like we have a lot on our minds today. I just kind of want to expand on a podcast or on a post that I made yesterday about the differences in how we accept life versus how we appreciate life or have gratitude, and just our self-talk and things that we say. I know that we've addressed some of these different issues over the last couple of years and over the last couple of episodes, but
all right, so let's explain your post. What happened with your post?
I had talked to a member and they had expressed just accepting their body for what it was and how things were going to be. But when we accept something, it just means that you're allowing it to be what it is. We accept that the day is gray. We accept that it's cold. I accept the fact that I'm 5'2". Doesn't mean I'm happy about it. Doesn't mean that it brings me joy in my life. And I think that that's a big problem with a lot of people is they accept their life circumstances. They accept their job. They accept their family. They accept their relationship status. They accept their social status. But they're not happy. Because accepting something doesn't mean that it makes you happy.
Yeah. I find that a lot of it is, like you said, it's the self-talk, but it can also be a lot of like how you talk or how you say things. So we've been working at it, ourselves over the past year, and then like we were just chatting about this the other day, and this is kind of how this topic came up, of just like listening to members in classes, seeing their little posts and comments in SugarWad about a certain movement or specific thing and saying that sucked or ouch or whatever, and it's going back to that negative mindset. And even though you're meaning it in a funny way, or maybe you're just trying to reflect and go funny, haha, just we're still making it a negative point.
I think the biggest thing for me is not necessarily like saying that sucked. Like that one doesn't like bother me as much as when people say like they only did something, or they make those backhanded bad comments at themselves. Almost as if like, I'm gonna make fun of myself before anybody else can. Such as like, did toes to bar, and they'll put that in like quotes, but it really looked like a, floppy fish and not all of them counted. Who the fuck cares what counts and what doesn't? Like, literally guys, like what counts and what doesn't count is just like a competitive standard.
Right.
So the fact that you're in here, you're moving, you're fitnessing, like you are so much better than what you were, but we are so ingrained to A, we put up defense mechanisms, so we make fun of ourselves before other people. B, we diminish our hard work because we think that by talking about ourselves and praising ourselves out loud that we're going to seem narcissistic and self-absorbed, and people don't like people like that, or we're setting ourselves up for disappointment. And it's just like, I don't know, maybe I'm blind, maybe we don't know shit, but when has anybody here ever made fun of someone else for trying their hardest and doing their best? And if someone is, and someone's being bullied, for the love of God, please tell me, because I'll kick them in the shin. Alright, like we don't do that here.
Right.
This is a safe place. Be you. Be proud of your accomplishments. Like, we want to celebrate them with you. I don't care what it is.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to, maybe comparing your movements to what other people is what maybe I think sometimes why we hear that is, well, I couldn't do toes to bar. I just tried, so I tried to do straight legs, and, it didn't look like Dave, or didn't look like Corian, or it didn't look like so-and-so. Like, but did you try? Did you give your all? Did you still go through that workout? you did, and like I'm still very proud of you for at least trying. You know, did it look exactly like me? Did you lift the same amount of weight? No, like, but what are you going for? You know, like everybody has a different goal here. Some people want to be super jacked. Some people are trying to run marathons. Some people are trying to lose weight. Some people are just trying to be healthy and move and not sit on the couch.
Honestly, some people don't even care about any of that other than this is a distraction and a stress relief.
Yeah.
Like they don't care about lifting heavy weights. They don't care about you know, losing body fat or gaining muscle. They don't. Sadly, I've met people who've joined the gym that don't care about a community either, which is fine. They're not rude, but they're just here because they have a stressful life, and this is a way for them to just detach for an hour.
Yep. They don't have to think about it. It's fun, and like you said, it brings joy to their life. So like, yeah, I guess the one thing that I hear a lot in class as a coach is when I'm getting scores, and I'll get like, hey, so and so, what's your score? And they'll be like, you know, 112, but I did this. Or super scale.
Oh, I hate super scaled. Stop saying
That's
super
like,
scaled. For the love of God, I'm gonna stop like writing workouts with anything detailed, so people could just be like,
I know. And
love what they did.
I think like, and that's maybe the downfall of past programming, or maybe what the stigma of CrossFit started with, and then Sugar Watt does it, and I've asked them to change it many times, they haven't done it yet, but like the RX versus scale, and everybody like chases that RX. And for a long time, when we did our programming, we put numbers, you know, we did the workout, and then right in the workout was the suggested weights, and everybody would just chase that number, and then it was like, well, if you didn't do that number exactly as written on the board, then it's scaled. And everybody didn't want to be scaled, so like we tried to get rid of the whole scale versus RX. Like we don't, if you notice, we don't even ask you, was that RX? Was that scaled? We don't even ask you as coaches because we hate it that much. And like, we've created the level system with the wellness track, the masters teams, the fitness, and the performance. Like, if you did it and that is part of that, any one of those tracks, you did it RX, so mark it RX, I don't care. Like, it's not the end of the world if you did something, and if you made a mistake and you marked something RX, like, who really cares? Oh, you're on the wrong leaderboard. Like, if you can't get over that, then I guess maybe you're doing this for the wrong reason. But like, it doesn't really matter.
I literally like take today's workout: rowing, sit-ups, snatching. I could write cardio, ab work, lift weight. Like that's your workout. Whatever you choose to do, you RX. Ta-da!
Yeah.
Way to go. Like, stop thinking it has to be something. Stop diminishing your efforts. Stop trying to, and I get it, again, this is just ingrained, but I really want to cut out the words of just and only and anything like that that's going to be, you'll hear me call them diminishing words, because we're setting ourselves up so that other people don't think that we're tooting our own horn and we're self-absorbed and narcissistic. If you cannot be self-absorbed in this gym amongst friends and a supportive community, then where could you be like that? This is where we celebrate wins, and every day we should be celebrating them. You know, we celebrate people for just making it in. Like, just be here, be with us. And then, you know, I love when people say that their goal is to run a mile without stopping. They don't have a care in the world of how long it takes them. Just want to be able to do it nonstop. That is huge. And I want to celebrate. Would that be scaled? No, I don't care if it took you a half an hour. You did it. And I think that we're so accustomed to being shut down everywhere else that it's hard for us to open up here. And the reason that we're talking about this, along with the whole accepting and appreciating, is because when you can appreciate what your body does, I appreciate that my body can hang from a bar and not have shoulder pain. You will start putting that effort into those things that you want to be doing. But if you keep sitting here going that I accept I will never do toes to bar, you're gonna limit yourself, and you probably never will.
Yeah, and like you said, loving every aspect of where you're at. I mean, remembering back to where you started, and where you are today. You know, remember that like you used to be sore every single day when you first started. And that's normal, you know, because now you're just moving for the first time, and you know, maybe you're not posting the best times, maybe you're not where you want to be in your head, but like we as coaches recognize it, we see it, we understand that like you've come miles. Like I was just giving John Lip some praise the other day for when we did the snatching and the overhead squat technique day. John and Ellen too in my class both had problems overhead squatting for the longest time, and we've worked on it with their mobility. And what were they doing the other day? They both were able to get down in that overhead squat, and it looked good because they put some effort into it. But like it was like I was giving them praise for it because I'm like, look, remember John, you couldn't even do this, a year ago. You wouldn't have been able to overhead squat, and he was pretty happy about it. And, like,
dude, I tell people all the time when we first started like fitnessing together and like running. Remember, you'd get so mad at me because like my run was like little tiny trots. Like you literally walked next to me, and I didn't want you to be away from me because that was diminishing to me. Not that it was your fault. It just showed me how out of shape I was.
Right.
So I was like, no, you can't run faster than me. Like you have to stay by my side, which just made it so not fun for you. And there was no running a mile. Like I didn't do that.
And now I can't even keep up with you.
But it's just, again, we need to learn to appreciate where we are, like you said, where we are in this journey, what's going on, and that's every aspect. We need to appreciate our body, we need to appreciate our mind, our growth, our effort, all of those things, because I guarantee you, I promise you, that for every person that's in this gym that thinks that they're not good enough, I've had another member or a guest or a family member come in and look at you and comment to me or another coach what an inspiration you are. Specifically, the person that I made my post about yesterday, like saying that I talked to that client, she, like I said, that post was, I'm going to accept that I have a more muscular build. I have had other clients come in here and look at her and say, that's what I want. That's what I want my body to look like.
Yeah.
And I bet you she doesn't even know that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing,
We're all inspiring someone for some reason or another. And again, you're not narcissistic, you're not self-absorbed, it's just a confidence. And we can be confident without being egotistical.
Yeah.
It is a fine line, but it's doable.
Yeah, being the egotistical, like, the ones that people don't like is the one that, like, the showboating one that's, like, constantly, like, I beat you, and, like, you know what I mean? Like, putting it like that, and just being like, what did you do today? Well, I did performance. You know what I mean? Something like that. That would be something that...
Or, there's no way you beat my time.
Yeah, like, those are, like, the ones that are, like, really, like, I don't care if somebody said that to me. I'm just saying, like, those are the ones that the people are kind of more like, what? Like,
I really don't think we have that here.
No, I haven't.
Again,
I haven't
guys, if we're wrong, please come and tell us, because sometimes we don't see everything.
And when mom and dad are around, people behave.
True.
People behave. So if it is happening, please let us know. That's not something we want to be.
But again, I think
community.
it's really hard. I think a lot of it comes down to just word choice. Like I said, one thing might mean something to someone and it might not mean the same thing. So maybe for someone, accepting their life is a positive thing. Maybe like that does mean like I'm happy and I'm fulfilled and I've accepted that this is who I am. And that's totally okay if that's your definition of accepting. But if you're using the word accepting to just be like, this is the status quo and there's nothing I can do about it and it doesn't bring you joy, then we might need to relook at it. And I've accepted a lot of things in my life. I was always mad that my law enforcement career didn't work out. I was always mad that my career went the way that it went and I wasn't getting the recognition and I wasn't being promoted and things weren't happening. And I eventually accepted it for what it was. But because I wasn't happy accepting it, I changed my life. And that's the difference between accepting and appreciating. I've learned a lot as a gym owner. We've talked about this. There's things we did not know. We've gone down different paths. We've sold things. We don't get tattoos anymore. Like, all those things. I've accepted it, and I love it. I appreciate it. We walked out last night. I walked onto the floor at a 7 p.m. class, and there was, 8 people?
8 or 9, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a busy 7.
And I was like, oh fuck. I was like, I wish okay, like not going home early, we're probably gonna be late tonight. Like I had wanted to go home early because I was tired and didn't sleep, but I appreciate the fact that we had an 8 or 9 person 7 p.m. class. You know, and I not only did I accept that this is my life as a business owner, I appreciate my life as a business owner.
Yeah, and I think there's a difference there, like you had said. So how could somebody, let's say somebody's listening to this, what are some steps we can give, Corinne, I guess, to like help somebody be like, take some steps? Because it's not just a switch. You can't just switch it and be like, all right, I'm going to be totally happy, because it is hard. Like, it's not something.
And it's not every day, guys. There are days that I just cry to Dave,
and it is normal.
or Rachel,
That's
or
normal.
Shannon.
That's normal. So like, what steps though can we do?
So I tell everybody a lot of it is just reframing how we choose to use words, and that starts in our mind. I think for me, realistically, I started in a safe place, inside my head, going to bed, because I didn't have to worry about anybody thinking that I sounded dumb, or that it was silly, or any of those things. So before bed and stuff, as I'm trying to fall asleep, you know, most of us can't sleep. We like might count sheep or let our mind run. Positive self-talk. You are where you want to be. You love your life. You get to change lives. You get to be your own boss. You get to have dreads. Fitness is something that you thrive in, and you have a beautiful apartment, and you have a wonderful husband, and you're strong, and all those things. But those started in my head, you know, and then eventually I got to writing them on paper. Writing them, I think, is a big difference than typing or saying them, because it's like proven facts that we are, like, unless you're a sociopath, I think 95% of us cannot admittedly lie when we write. So like if you're trying to write something positive and your body's fighting it, doesn't really feel it, you'll like stop, you won't be able to write. Otherwise you'll change the words that you write. So then I started, you know, writing them down. That's where we do gratuity journals and reflections and stuff like that, and daily affirmations. And then as I got more confident in myself and really truly started believing, I could talk about it. Talk about it on podcasts, I talk about it with members, I talk about it and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know how hard it is for me, so for me, we did the 5-minute journal. That's something you can get on Amazon, that helps. Because it tells you, you know, it gets in that habit of writing, and like, what are you grateful for today? And it's like, puts you in a good mindset when you wake up, and then puts you in a good mindset before you go to bed. So that was one thing that helped me. Writing it on, like, I have, like, when I think of a nice thought or like quotes or something, I put it on my whiteboard in the office, so I see it every morning, and that's like the first, you know, I see it, you know, and it reminds me.
Yeah, we have a whole mirror with stuff right now.
So it's like, that's one way for me, and then meditation, I'm not shy about doing that, and that just helps me put different mindset, because it talks about that, of just accepting and where you're at, and letting things go. So that's something I'm really working at, for stress reasons, and just understanding that, you know, not that this is where life is, but understanding that, you know, like, it's okay and not to let everything just fester and sit there, if that makes sense. But like, appreciate it, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Would be big. And then you guys, if you're listening to this and maybe you're following our episodes, it's super hard to talk about ourselves and like feel like, you know how hard it was and I'll just be, I guess, a little vulnerable here, but talking 2 episodes ago, and we were talking about our worst year ever, and thinking when I put that out, like, I'm putting this out to the world, what are people going to think of me? Are they going to support us? Are they going to think less of us? And like, that is you know, being vulnerable and talking about yourself, that was huge for us. But like, be like, all right, well, we're going to tell our story, and we're going to share this with all of our members, and just understand that like, no one's going to come up to me like, what a stupid episode, Dave. But like, that was what the story in my head that I was telling myself it's going to be. Like, people are not going to accept us. They're going to think we're crazy. They're not going to believe in us. But like, just be real and be yourself.
Yeah, and let's be honest, like, that might happen in certain platforms in certain areas, but you know, those people are just assholes, and you know,
those are the people you don't want in your circle.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, I don't feel like if anybody put anything on the board or in Sugarwater or in the Facebook group about feeling confident about their stuff, no one here is gonna knock each other down. And again, we don't put up with that. We don't put up with bullying. So like if somebody did or someone is, like, let's talk about that. You know, this isn't a community. Sorry, I stare off into nothing
I
else.
thought you were looking behind me like there was
When
a
I'm
ghost.
thinking, like my eyes just like stare into nothing. But this isn't a community for people who are going to be bullies like that. And if you've ever noticed, certain people that might have those qualities will start here and they don't last because they thrive off of that back and forth banter. And when they get in here and they start razzing people and no one really razzes them back, they're like, oh, well, this is fun.
Yeah.
And then they quickly leave.
Yeah, they just decide that, this isn't the community for them, and that's fine. This isn't for everybody. Like, we have a niche of people that we're trying to grow here. If you notice, most of the people at our gym here are very, like, I would say, like-minded and right around the same. So, I think that's all I have to say on this topic.
Forrest Gump. And that's all I had to say about that.
I don't know. We're going to keep going, but I think a shorter one this week.
Yeah, a little bit. Like I said, accepting versus appreciating is much different. And, it's all about that self-talk. And it's about those diminishing words. Like, how are you choosing to describe things inside your head and out loud to others? Because it tells a real big story on how you feel and what you think is important and maybe some insecurities that we might have. But we're definitely here to build each other up.
Yeah. All right, guys, that wraps up another episode. Remember, it's not just a PR. Okay? Celebrate those wins every day. You came in here, you worked out, did you feel good? And I tell people all the time, look at them when they say that, and I'm like, did you work out? Yeah. Do you feel good? Yeah. All right. Then celebrate that and have fun with it. And just go home and realize that, like, all right, a victory could be like, I was tired and I almost didn't go to the gym, but I did.
Yeah.
And I got my sweat on and I feel better about that.
I told someone the other day, what's one thing you take away from the workout? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, you're here. You did it. Yeah. And sometimes, some days where that's gonna be it. And there is times I've not been shot on my Instagram either, that I've gone through some tough days. Winter is hard for me. The changes in the gym this last year has been hard for me, and there's days that it's just about being here. That's it. Everything else is a bonus.
Yeah, the other day it was freezing cold, and I looked at Corey and I'm like, hey, the sun's out.
Yeah. There you go.
We haven't had sun in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And today's another cloudy day. Yeah. But it's not freezing, and we don't have a polar boat check, so. All right, guys. Thanks. We're going to wrap this up. Thanks for listening. Stay classy, Harbor Park. We'll see you next episode.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Anchored Podcast.
If you wish to follow us on Instagram, you can find us at
Dave_mobility CF_coach
and at Corian_health CF_coach. Or you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to your podcast.
While you're at it, if you found value in the show, shoot us a 5-star review.
Unless there's a problem, shoot us a message first.
Please help us get our message out to others by sharing our show with a friend so we can impact more people's lives.
See you on the next episode of Anchored at Harbor Park.
Stay classy.